Hey, what's up? We're here with another devotion for you guys today. And today, Megan, I think, is going to be talking about in Matthew 6 about the when use. I'm going to let Megan take it.
Yeah, so this is something that God showed me this week, and I hope that it's encouraging to you. So I'm going to start reading in verse 2 of Matthew chapter 6, like Drew said. It says, "For when you give to the needy, sound no trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be praised by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you." So my first takeaway from that was when you give. I think giving is something that should be constant throughout the life of a believer. It's often something that is viewed just money of giving, but it can be our resources, it can be our time, it can be our help to others. You know, you don't have to be in a job, you don't have to be older, you don't have to be an adult to be giving. There are other ways that you can give to people in need. So our next little point can be found in verse 5 of the same chapter. So it says, "And when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you." So when you pray, once again, not if, but when you pray. Prayer is something that should be intimate, it should be personal, it shouldn't just be here and there, it should be a constant, ongoing time with God. You know, the more that you pray, the more that you're going to find discernment, the more you're going to find guidance in the Spirit, and I think that's a really pivotal point in the life of a believer. You have to pray to seek a relationship with God. And we're going to jump down in the same Matthew chapter 16. We're going to jump down to verse 16. It says, "And when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, that their fasting may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." So once again, when you fast. And I think that's often the one that is left out the most. In the life of a believer, it's more of the if, not the when. But I think that's something that people need to grow and learn more about on how they can fast. And I liked what my study Bible said in the bottom. It said, "In fact, fasting can be called prayer without words, when our time without food should be an intense time of listening to God, trying to gain a sense of His direction and meditating on His Word." So I loved what that said. It said prayer without words. And often we hear people say, "I don't know how to pray. I've never prayed before." This is an awesome start. Prayer without words. And I promise the more time that you devote something in a time to God, the more you step away from something else to replace it with God, the more you're going to know what to say, the more comfortable it's going to feel, the more you're going to grow in your relationship with God. So it all kind of goes hand in hand together. So when you give, when you pray, when you fast.
Nice. And then I think also the beginning of chapter 6, verse 1 says, "Beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them. For then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven." All these when used, the when you pray, when you give, and when you fast, all of those are done unto God. They're not looking to be shown and given so that other people may see. It's so that God may see. So at that point, you have to do it in your secret place. And you have to do it. You can do that right now where you're at your house, wherever you're at watching this video. You can do it in the secret place, right? Of getting some time with God, getting away with God, and just understanding that without that time with God, you're truly missing out on the life of what it is as a Christian. And that's really exciting. You know what I mean? And then also bouncing off of that is in Psalms 32, verse 7, which says, "You are a hiding place for me. You preserve me from trouble. You surround me with shouts of deliverance." And just think about that. In this time that we have to be at home or wherever it is you're doing, this is a time where we can hide away from all the distractions of the world and truly get into the shelter of God, you know, and God truly can bring the best out of you and the deliverance that He has for you in your life.
Yeah, and as you said, you know, we're stepping away from a lot of distractions and what's going on in the world right now, but don't let a distraction that was happening, school, work, sports, just become a replacement for another distraction at home. So I wouldn't let one distraction become a replacement for another distraction at home, whether that's TV, video games, social media, you know, whatever it may be. We are given an opportunity right now to really let God become the first priority in our lives right now, which we often don't do very well sometimes. At least I know for me personally, when I get wrapped up in school and work and everything that goes on in the day-to-day life that we have responsibilities for. So we're really given a unique opportunity with what's happening right now to really build that.
So there's 3 things that you can do during this time of hiding away with God. And that's when you pray, when you fast, and when you give.
Yeah.
And all these things you can do straight from your house right now, right where you're at.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of the night. We'll see you next time.